Two of the best offensive teams in the country going head-to-head here. This one should be a lot of fun. I'm all caught up on film on these two teams. I'm caught up on my press conferences for Nate Oats and Matt Painter. I even went back and watched last year's matchup between these two teams. I'm going to break it all down for you guys. Real quick overview from these teams' first couple games. Purdue won 2 games at Mackey without TKR. He's going to be back for this one, which is obviously huge. Purdue lost their number 1 spot in the AP poll because they played Oakland close, but blew the doors off Evansville 82-51 and then beat Oakland 87-77. A good Oakland team who played really well. What stands out from those first couple games? Braden's obviously hooping. He's got 20 assists to 2 turnovers. They're taking excellent care of the ball, only 12 turnovers through the first 2 games. And they hit 13 threes in both their first 2 games, shooting 41%. The one negative that's really stood out is Purdue's been getting crushed on the glass against this mid-major competition. Yeah, they beat Evansville by 30, but they allowed 20 offensive rebounds. Oakland out-rebounded them as well, and in the scrimmage against Kentucky, where TKR did play, Purdue got out-rebounded by 12. Of course, the starting lineup's going to be bigger in this game when you take out 6'6" Jack Benter and put TKR in, but even in that scrimmage against Kentucky, like I said, with TKR, didn't rebound the ball well. Let's talk Bama. They beat North Dakota 91-62. That was without Aden Holloway and Latrell Wrightsell, who came back for the game against St. John's, where Alabama put on just a brilliant performance, winning 103-96 in the Garden. Against an old, extremely physical team that had an advantage on the interior. Y'all who saw my video on this knew that I thought St. John's was going to win this game. Bama just was outstanding. Aden Holloway had 21, was incredible around the rim. Philon was clutch down the stretch. He put up 25. Trey Wrightsell hit 4 threes, scored 17. Taylor Bowen played really well. Nate Oats gave him that hard hat player of the game. He had 17 and 9 with 2 steals and 2 blocks as well. Was just so impressive how Alabama went on the road and got that win. Had to overcome foul trouble, injuries. St. John's got to the free throw line, took 40 free throws, but Bama found a way to get it done. Real quick, can y'all like, comment, subscribe, support the channel? I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. So when these teams played 2 years ago in Toronto, Purdue won 92-86. Bama was up 12 at halftime, though. They scored 49 points in the first half. But Zach Edey was just too much. He ended up with 37. Bama's entire front court fouled out. Braden was awesome too. He had 27 points and 10 assists. Then last year at Mackey, it was a really good game. I remember I picked Alabama to win that one. Then with about 9 minutes to go, the game completely flips on its head because freshman CJ Cox becomes a man-possessed, hits 3 threes in a row, 9-0 personal run. Purdue takes control, and they were able to win the game 87-79. TKR was killer in this one. He had 26. Cliff O'More did a decent job on him. Grant Nelson really couldn't do much to stop him. Braden had 17 and 10. And then Labaron Philon had 18 off the bench for Bama in his 4th collegiate game. So can Nate Oats and Alabama stop Purdue from beating them for a 3rd year in a row, this time on their home court? Number 1 story in this matchup has to be Trey Kauffman-Renn. Was huge last year in this matchup, missed the first 2 games of this season. How does he fit alongside Oscar Clough? I know we saw it a bit in the scrimmages, but how does it look against a team like Bama that has such great offensive spacing and plays so fast? Is Purdue able to just bully ball on the interior, or can Bama hold their own defensively and capitalize on the other end? Bama's a little thin in the front court right now. Bristow, the Tarleton State transfer, is still out. And Charles Onyejaka, the freshman big, he's out as well. Going to need a lot from Noah Williamson, who only played 9 minutes against St. John's. They did not go very well. At least Purdue isn't as athletically crazy as St. John's is, but still, is he ready for high major basketball? They're not the same player, but TKR and Zuby Ejiofor are very similar in the ways that they score. And Zuby just went for 26 against Bama. Can Bowen and Sherrill stay out of foul trouble? And when a guy like Williamson comes in, can he hold his own? Those are big questions for Bama. And then in Nate Oats' presser, he gave his flowers to Braden Smith, who's obviously a special point guard. His ability to score and to get the ball to TKR is just so hard to stop, just paired with Matt Painter as just a great X's and O's coach. A key X factor for Purdue here is how does Jack Benter or Liam Murphy, who both hit 3 threes last game, how do they fit with TKR back in the lineup? Does that mean we're going to see TKR at the 5 and Clough and Jacobson on the bench? That might be Purdue's best bet to beat this Bama team. But really, guys like that and Fletcher Lawyer need to really cash in from deep on open looks. And when Fletcher's coming off a DHO, if Bama's in drop coverage, is he able to get downhill and score at the rim? It's going to be a challenge, but I really like the way Bama competed against St. John's on the road, against an extremely physical team that doesn't have the pure height that Purdue has. Obviously, bringing Jacobson off the bench as well. So much height. But like I said, they haven't rebounded the ball well. Alabama's a good offensive rebounding team. So even if Purdue does have this advantage in the front court, Bama just out-rebounded St. John's, which is a team that's elite at offensive rebounds. They held them to just 10. So can guys like Bowen and Sherrill elevate to that challenge? I honestly think they can. And I really like these Bama freshmen. Amari Allen's been awesome so far. And then London Jameson, Davion Hannah, at home, I think they're a bit more comfortable and can give really solid role player minutes here. And Bama can deploy these 4-guard lineups where TKR, Clough, Jacobson, it's going to be really hard for them to stick with that and to get up and down the court. Bama is just so good in transition. They're playing on their home court. Offensively, the performance in St. John's was just absurd. The way that the guards play off each other, the way they got to the rim, rejecting screens. They missed open threes too. I think a guy like Houston Millette is due for a good game here. And that's the thing with Bama. Even against St. John's, they scored 103. They missed a lot of open threes. On their home court, this is the type of game where they could hit 15 threes. And where Purdue is just really struggling to guard this more athletic team with shooting everywhere. They're just so difficult to guard. Philon is just so tough to stop. I understand Purdue can throw a Jakari Harris or a CJ Cox on him, but I don't know if you can really slow him down if you're Purdue. He had 18 at Mackey last year when he wasn't nearly the player that he is right now. It would be so impressive if Purdue and Braden Smith go on the road to this environment and beat Bama for a third straight year. Of course, it wouldn't shock me if they do because of the way Braden Smith can pick apart a defense, the way that TKR is a tough matchup for Alabama to deal with. The line opened Bama as 1.5 point favorites. It's up to 3.5 now. Total-wise, up from 172.5 to 175.5. That's saying we're playing up into the high 80s here probably. Look, Bama's going to have to bring their hard hats defensively, but I'm giving a vote of confidence in Nate Oats. I think defending his home court with this third time in this matchup, that this is finally the time that Alabama gets this win. You're going to have to hit a lot of threes. You're going to need good minutes from Noah Williamson and these freshmen. But as good as Purdue's offense is, I side with Alabama, the home team here, to score more points in this game. A couple of quick betting angles for those of you interested. I think Braden Smith's points prop is a nice play here if it's around 15. Like I said, he had 17 and 27 the last two times. These teams met with Bama dropping their bigs off pretty deep. Braden should be able to get to his floater, his little mid-range pull-up. I think he's going to score probably 18 to 20 plus points in this game. And if I'm going to play this game, I honestly might play Alabama first half minus like 2 instead of the full game 3.5, just because in the event that Sherelle and Bull Bowen get in foul trouble and just how good Braden and Matt Painter are after halftime of just finding a way to pick apart a defense. I think in that first half, though, Bama's going to be firing. That crowd's going to be going crazy. And Nate Oats isn't afraid to play a guy with 2 fouls in the first half. So I think Bama first half will be my play if I do something here. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Support my channel, support me, give me a like, comment, subscribe, more college basketball content coming your way.